Any big change you want to make, any dream you're chasing, it all starts with one simple, honest step, knowing where you are right now. In this explainer, we're going to unpack why that single moment of self-awareness is probably the most powerful starting point you have. So let's dive in.
So let's just start right there, shall we? Take a second and really think about this question. I don't mean where you wish you were or where you think you should be, but where are you right now in this moment? It sounds simple, but wow, the answer can tell you so much. And sometimes that honest answer, it can hit you like a ton of bricks. This line from the source material just captures that feeling perfectly. That sudden jolt of realizing you haven't really been steering your own ship. It's like waking up from a long dream and seeing how much has just floated on by. So what is this feeling? Well, it actually has a name. The sources we looked at call it sleepwalking through life. And of course, it's not about literally being asleep. It's about being on autopilot. You're going through all the motions every day, but without really connecting to what you're doing, or maybe more importantly, why you're doing it.
I bet a lot of us know this feeling. You're doing everything you're supposed to be doing, right? You're working, paying the bills, keeping up with things, but there's this little nagging feeling of being disconnected. Like the real you, the one with all the big passions and dreams, is kind of just standing off to the side, watching.
This whole sleepwalking thing, it's usually a symptom of something bigger, something deeper. It's not just a random bad mood. It's a very real, very uncomfortable sense that you are just fundamentally out of step with the life you're living. Just listen to this. One of the participants, Sander, was talking about the pull he felt towards his true calling, which was book illustration. As he puts it here, it's not some gentle suggestion. It's a deep, internal cry for it that you just can't shut off. And the metaphor Sander used, it's just perfect. He said that this feeling of misalignment is like being a sphere that someone is desperately trying to jam into a triangle-shaped hole. You can almost feel that pressure, can't you? That friction. It just doesn't fit, no matter how hard you push, because you were never meant for that particular box in the first place. So what are the red flags? How does this misalignment actually feel day to day? Well, the sources pointed out a few common signs. There's that constant feeling of being off balance, a total lack of passion for what you do for a living, that nagging voice telling you this isn't the dream you had for yourself, and maybe the most tiring one of all, the sheer exhaustion that comes from pretending to be someone you're not. Okay, so when you feel this way, it's only human to look for a way out, right? But that often leads us straight into this really common psychological trap. It's a way of coping that basically puts our own happiness on layaway. It's called the someday trap. I mean, we've all heard this story. Heck, we've probably all told ourselves this story. It's this belief that happiness is conditional, that it's something that happens later, after you get something you want. When I get that promotion, when I finally buy a house, when I find the right person, then I'll be happy. You see, the someday trap gets the whole idea of fulfillment completely backward. It treats things like joy and peace not as something you can feel and create right now, but as a prize you have to win in some far-off, maybe never going to happen future. So what's the way out of this trap? Well, it's powerful, and honestly, it's all on you. It's about realizing that being enough isn't a grade the world gives you after you've checked off a bunch of boxes. No, it's a declaration. It's something you have to grant yourself permission to feel, right here, right now.
And that's the real kicker, isn't it? The real danger of this someday mindset is what you lose right now. Like one of the participants pointed out, you're literally putting your most important feelings, your joy, your peace, on hold. You're saving them for a future that, let's be honest, is never guaranteed.
Okay, so if the future is a trap, what about the past? All those parts that felt like a total mess or a huge mistake? Well, this next idea is all about a radical change in perspective. It's about finding the wisdom that was hiding in the journey all along.
I love this. It's about flipping the script on your own story. The old story might say, ugh, I wasted so much time and made so many wrong turns. But the new perspective? It says something totally different. It says those wrong turns weren't mistakes. They were experiments. And those places where you felt you didn't belong, they were crucial. They gave you the contrast you needed to finally recognize what does feel right.
And this metaphor from another participant, Heather, is just fantastic. She says, life isn't some single, straight road. It's a playground. You go, let me try this box out for a while. You see how it feels. Then you try another one.
And through all that playing and experimenting, you start to figure out exactly what you need to build your own perfect playground.
The takeaway here is huge. Nothing was a waste. As another person, DJ, put it, if I hadn't done all those things, I wouldn't be who I am now. Every single experience, especially the ones that felt wrong, becomes a critical brick in the foundation of the person you are today.
So, if the past was our playground for learning, and the future is just some story we tell ourselves, what's left? Where does that leave us? It leaves us right here, in the only place life is ever really happening. It leaves us with the power of now.
Right here, right now, is all there ever was. This one line, it really says it all. We spend so much of our energy chasing a future or replaying a past, and we miss the only thing that's actually real, this moment, this breath. And this is the big aha moment. All those feelings you've been deferring, joy, peace, a sense of contentment, they're not stuck in some cosmic waiting room for you. They are right here. They are available for you to feel now, if you can just stop telling yourself the story that you have to wait for them.
So how do we actually do this? It's not as complicated as it sounds. It boils down to 3 pretty simple steps. First, just acknowledge it. Notice the someday story you're telling yourself. Second, question it. Ask yourself, is this story really true? Do I absolutely need that to be happy? And third, find something. Look for just one thing in your life today that already gives you a little bit of joy or peace. So as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with that question to really chew on. What story are you believing about what it takes to be happy? Because realizing you have the power to write a new story, well, that's the first step to finding the happiness that's already here, just waiting for you. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.